and diving into some of your content, because we do our homework around here. Like you are literally talking about legislation. Like you folks are really making waves in regards to the pharmacy industry. And that brings up certain liability. Maybe you can talk a little bit. And the reason why I bring this up is because, so myself, I do a broadcast on our Soaring Profits Media of financial fitness. And I do a lot of the media, I do a lot of the finance heavy stuff in regards to technical analysis, looking and talking with high level individuals in the finance space. And the number one issue when we bring people on there is I have to be very cautious. I have to be very concerned about the information I'm putting out into the industry, out into the public. What sort of liability do you folks have to be concerned about? And is there legislation around information and the dissemination of that information for your audience?
So when we deal with our pharma companies, pharma was the first one we did was a Trulicity, which was a diabetes medication that Eli Lilly came out with. And in 2018, I convinced them after 6 months of trying to convince them to do a podcast series. And they did it. And it was the most tedious podcast I ever did in my life. It was a 6-part series that turned into an 8-part series. And now it's a 5-part series because, as you said, things changed and they had to legally take down content that was no longer relevant. It was expired. So that comes into play in our portfolio when we're working with pharma companies, when we're working with Pfizer, when we're working with Moderna. We have to be extremely careful about what content we put out because it is geared towards the pharmacist and the physician, primarily the pharmacist. But guess what? Anybody can listen to our podcast. Yeah, so when we put content out there, we have to make sure that the legal side and compliancy has double sniffed, triple sniffed, and listened to it and made corrections and then put it out and then marketed it. We're working with an organization now through Novo Nordisk, and Novo has said, listen, we want our content out on all of your streams. We do not want it out on other platforms, maybe like a YouTube. We don't want it out on Twitter or something. Yeah. They have their reasoning. That's not me to question them. They're my client. I'm going to do whatever that they want me to do from a content publishing perspective. And you have to be sensitive to that. You have to be able to read that. You have to be responsible. And that's what this is. This is a publication that is extremely keen and aware of what's happening in the pharmaceutical space, pharmacy care space.